Okay, this is TA Escalation Pro Tournament Series 7 that I've casted, and this game is between Fez in the purple and Next Race in blue. From henceforth, I will just be calling him Race, and he has decided to go for the Core Commander. Looks like he's starting with a very economic build, going all 3 metal extractors first, and 2 solar collectors before starting his first factory. And in purple, we have Fez, who is going K-Bots first. Now, this is the first game I've casted in which both players are using the Core Commander. It does seem that ARM is a little more popular in this tournament so far, so I am excited to see a game with 2 cores. Perhaps you could even call it a dual core game. Okay, so on this map, Gauntlet, as we've said before, the games tend to be a little longer. That is normal. I do really like this map, as I've mentioned in the past. I like the idea of the Gauntlet. This is a very harrowing, narrow chasm. It's not that narrow, but it is a very long corridor in which epic battles do ensue. And finding a way past all of your opponent's defenses, and Army is part of the name of the game. We've already seen in this tournament some very creative ways that people have decided to crack this chestnut, and hopefully in this game between Fez and Race, we will see some more very interesting and unique strategies that will likely take me by surprise, and I will embarrass myself because I miss it completely. So without further ado, let's see what's going on here. Fez, who went K-Bot first, has built a couple AKs. Nothing unexpected there. And Race has built some Weasels. As I've said before, I like vehicles more on this map. I think starting vehicles is better. But what do I know? I'm not the pro. We will see if the players can defend their own choice of starting factory by winning the game with their vehicles or K-Bots. So it does look like Race has built quite a few Jeffies here. It looks like at least 10, maybe more. I mean, it is a veritable army of Jeffies. Not Jeffies, Weasels. Jeffy is the ARM equivalent. But it is a veritable army of scouts. They have come down into Fez's base, and they are looking for those juicy metal extractors and even better construction K-Bots to slow down his opponent's. Fez is trying to slow down his opponent's expansion, put him behind economically, and overall just ruin his day and make his life a miserable place. This is, again, one reason that I do like vehicles more. Fez was able to get his Jeffies into his opponent's base much more quickly, I think, than Fez could have gotten his AKs into his opponent's base, because Jeffies are quite a bit faster than AKs, and he is using that blazing speed to full effect in this game, in which he is now taking out a construction K-Bot. He's already done quite a bit of economic damage. He's taken out a defender. He's preventing his opponent from expanding. And while it does seem that Fez will eventually clean this up with this little strike force of AKs moving to the west, Fez has already been the recipient of quite a bit of economic damage, and Race, I would say, has done a good job. Now Race here has 3 instigators and a leveler. We haven't seen a leveler yet in this tournament. I have to say the leveler is one of my favorite units in the game. It was technically a 3.1C unit, It was part of the unit add-on pack that Cavedog created near the end of the company's life. But in escalation, it has been buffed to ever-living hell and back, and it is quite a formidable unit. It's fast, it does quite a bit of damage, its turret rotates at an insane speed, and it's extremely powerful against these light swarmer units. It's called a riot tank for a reason. It will put down any kind of riot of flashes, peewees, AKs, instigators, you name it. It's very good. As you can see, it's already taken out this whole army of AKs pretty much single-handedly. And I would say it is not too much of a stretch to conclude that Race has definitely come out on top in this early game. He is putting a constant harassment onto his opponent. And again, I think this is another example of why starting vehicles first on this map is a very good choice, because you simply have units that are faster than your opponent and have more damage and are just performing better in general on this particular terrain. And yeah, Fez is already in the chat kind of expressing his frustration because of this constant wave of harassment and pressure that Race has put on him this entire game. So, as I've already mentioned, I think Race has the better army composition for this particular map, and to counter what he's doing, Fez has gone for a vehicle plant second, so he's bringing out some instigators of his own, which should give him the ability to at least fight on even footing with his opponent. But the question remains whether Race has already inflicted so much economic damage onto Fez that that it's impossible, that he's created a scenario which that Race will not be able to... No, I was right the first time. That Fez will not be able to recover from. So we will have to see if Fez can come out of this situation. He does have quite a bit of reclaim that might help him to get his economy back online. But the problem is, just looking at the megamap, that Race has taken his entire northern base. This entire northern area has been claimed, and he's taken quite a bit of the northern part of the map, the north middle part of the map. He has also taken, and Fez is way behind in terms of economy. And just looking at the metal incomes themselves, Race is almost double Fez in metal production, which is nothing unexpected just given the outcome of the events, which we have already seen in this particular game. So let me just speed it back up a bit. Race is content to continue applying pressure with this very brutal composition of both instigators and riot tanks. So far, this combination has been working splendidly, and he has decided to not fix what's broken, not reinvent the wheel, and just continue to use these two units in conjunction with one another. Now, at this particular moment, it does seem like Fez has more units. Storms are pretty good against enough storms, if you have a sufficient number, will be a very strong against any T1 composition, simply because they can slowly kite them and hit them with an endless barrage of rockets. MAKs are very good against this composition as well. If he can get, he's only got one now, but if he can build a few more MAKs, I think that would put him into a good position. But, let me slow it down. It looks like, in the meantime, Race has built a fleet of shadows and is now line bombing the living hell out of his opponent, much to, undoubtedly, Fez's chagrin. And it looks like with his impeccable line bombing skills, Race is taking out absolutely every single building within a 10-mile radius of Fez's base. And it looks like he just bombed the commander. Certainly that did some damage. It doesn't look like it did too much. But we'll see what Race wants to get accomplished with the remainder of these bombers. Let's see here. Looks like maybe he's flying them around for another pass. Or maybe he will take them back to his base. In the meantime, he is sending down a force of instigators and 1 leveler, 2 levelers. And on the right, he has a little army of AKs. It looks to be that this force on the left side is nothing but a distraction, so that his army on the right side can get into the meaty and juicy core, no pun intended, of Fez's base and do some permanent damage, perhaps snipe the commander if they're lucky. The commander is doing some degunning. Let's switch to his view. He is taking damage here. I don't know if this is bugged out. It doesn't look like his health is going down much. But either way, looking here, the bombers are now moving again. We will see what they can get accomplished. They're bombing the army. Race's control of the bombers is the best I've seen so far. It is very impressive. He has managed to do untold, insane amounts of both economic damage and even bombing Fez's units, bombing his army. And it looks like this might be the end for Fez. See how much health he has. He's on about a 4th health. He might live through this engagement, but I would posit a guess that this game is probably not going to go on for much longer. It seems as though Race has inflicted an insane amount of both economic and production damage onto his opponent. And as you can see, if you look at the mega map, has taken over pretty much the entire map except for Fez's little island here at the bottom. Let's see what he's doing back at home. He is now on T2, and he has 2 factories. He has an aircraft, 2 vehicle plants, aircraft plant, and just taking all his geos, kind of what you expect. Now, Fez does have some pyros. He did, from what it seems, get to T2 first. And the pyros are very good against this particular composition. So it does seem like Fez will have a little advantage, perhaps, for a few moments. But as soon as Race begins to bring down his T2 tanks, in this case the Wraith, into this battle, that advantage will be nullified. And most likely Fez will crumble under the pressure. Let's look at the economy again. Race now has about 4 times as much metal per second, which does mean that his production will be very difficult to match for Fez, though perhaps I've counted him out a little too early. I certainly thought he was dead a few minutes ago when that army of AKs sweeps down into his the foundation of his base and began to target the commander, but he did live with about a 4th health, and we will see what he can do from this position to bring himself back into the game. Again, we will look at Race's base. Let's see. He is going for mohos. He's building energy storages. He's building moho extractors. Pretty much everything you might expect of somebody in this situation. And let's take another look at Fez's base. He is building pyros. And He does have one Moho extractor, but that's about it. He might do well to reclaim some of this metal corpses around his base, but it does look like he is reclaiming those nearest his commander. That might be a potential way back into this game. He is building a sumo, as I've said before in previous casts on this map. I think the sumo is very good on this map, simply because the gauntlet creates a choke point through which you have to get past the sumos that are notoriously slow moving, but do quite an insane amount of damage if they can get in range of their target and stay in range of their target. But at this point, it does look like Race is so far ahead that even a sumo is not going to be able to staunch the flow of AKs and Wraiths and Instigators, which are endlessly streaming into Fez's base, and almost certainly will kill his commander. Though I was wrong about that last time, but it does look like, Fez finally taps out here. And I am told that after this game, Fez forfeited his second game, and so it looks like Race does move on to round 3 of the tournament. It's a little disappointing. I think both players did pretty well in this game. Certainly Race was ahead. I think that's mostly because he started vehicle first and was able to utilize that advantage by applying constant pressure to Fez. But, we all get headaches, we all have bad days, and certainly there are many more games to cast. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next series.